Good morning, people. I'm just going to wait for you guys to tune in. Good morning. Happy Friday, TGIF. Good morning, Instagram. Good morning, YouTube. Good morning, Facebook. Say hi in the comments. Let me know where you are tuning in from, where you're watching me from. If you're new, definitely let me know if this is your first time. Good morning, Akinwumi. Good morning, Onyi Okibo. Good morning on Instagram. Um, if you're tuning in for the first time, definitely say hi in the comment box. Let me know where you're tuning in from so I can give you a shout out. And even if you're not new, still definitely say hi in the comment box so I can give you a shout out. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And then for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ayesha Chidole. I'm an immigration attorney. I represent clients with their family immigration matter, their humanitarian immigration matter all over the United States. So your location really doesn't matter, wherever you are. I can assist you humanitarian-based cases, family immigration-based cases. And personally, I'm in Orlando, Florida, in a suburb called Lake Mary. I don't even know if it's north or south of Orlando. I'm horrible with geography, but I'm in Orlando-ish area. And then my phone number is 407-995-6567. And then you can also send a text on WhatsApp, 404-333-8751. Okay, let me say hi to some people. And then if you're on Instagram, you can see my phone number on my profile. If you're on Facebook and YouTube, obviously you can see it scrolling through the ticker. Um, Oh, hi from California. That's super early. That's like 7 o'clock. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hi, Ify. That's also another great immigration attorney out in New Jersey. Let's see. Hey, Chanel on Facebook. Hey, Effie. Hey, Prince. Good morning, Rashad. Good morning, Adede G. Good morning, Orville on Facebook. Justina on YouTube, good morning from Los Angeles. First time tuning in. Yesterday, I forgot to say it. I love your show. Thank you so much for tuning in. And thank you so much for being here. Orville says, I'm very proud of you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Obi from Sacramento, California. What is it? California is in the house today. What's up with you guys today? Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And I hope your Friday is off to a good start. Today, I really don't have any topics. I just want you to ask me questions. If you guys have questions, I just want to talk about frequently asked questions. So if you have any burning questions or things that you want to know, feel free to ask me, and I will try to answer as many of your questions as I can. Most of the time when you guys ask me questions and I can't answer it, it's hard for me to go back because I'm on live on one screen, online on the other screen, so I can't get the other screen to get the questions. But I'll try to answer as many as I can. Hi, Joy from New Jersey and Oroville from Mississippi. Okay, so Prince Shook says, how long does it take to get a work permit after your biometrics in Florida? Prince, your answer is very, very broad because it depends on what you applied for. What did you apply for? A marriage-based case, asylum, is it employment-based? So the answer depends. Hi, Ashani. Thanks for tuning in on Instagram. So the answer the answer to your question depends on what biometrics that you did. And then Joy on Instagram, on YouTube says, what did she say? Please, when does VAL receipt notice come in? Usually your VAL receipt notice will come in between 3 to 6 weeks after you've submitted your petition. So if you've not got it within 3 to 6 weeks, you want to see, you want to make sure everything is okay. That is why, if you ever try to attempt to do this yourself, which you shouldn't, but if you do, you want to make sure that you always have tracking just so that where your packet is or if it was delivered and all of that good stuff. Okay, so Prince says a marriage-based case. So the question he asked originally was, how long does it take to get a work permit after your biometrics in Florida? So obviously I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't give you the exact date. But what I will say is that On average, after your biometrics, give or take, most people in my practice, I can't tell you that this is a rule, by at least the 8th or 9th week, they should have gotten their work permit. So it means that your permit could come 2 weeks later, it could come 3 weeks later, it could come 4 weeks later, but in about 2 months, you should hopefully see your work permit. Okay. Um, let's see. And then Rashad says, what is the estimated time after doing fingerprints to get a work permit? Okay, that's exactly the same question that what's his name asked Prince Chooks. So that's your answer. Dre says, good morning, Miss Aisha. I'm watching live from Tennessee. Do I need an affidavit of support when filing a Form I-29 because my U.S. citizen fiance does not have a job? This is a great question. But your question is actually very confusing because you cannot file a fiance visa if you and your fiance are in America. So I hope that this is a typo or that you're the US citizen and your spouse is, oh my goodness, my batteries are literally about to die, guys. Just hold on. Let me put a charger on my phone batteries so that I'm a mess this morning. I had like a meeting. So, okay, 1 second, guys. Let me just, okay, now I have the charger. So your question doesn't actually make sense. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. You're asking for someone that's currently not online. Okay, so basically, if you file a fiance visa application for your fiance outside the country, yes, you need an affidavit of support, financial support, showing that the U.S. citizen that's petitioning the person is able to support them. If they can file one, you can get a joint sponsor. The good thing about a fiance visa is that the income requirement is much lower than if you were filing for a green card. So, with a normal joint sponsor, you need, and it's based on, for a green card, you need 125% past the poverty guideline. For fiance visa, you only need 100%. So, it's usually less. Okay. Princess, thank you so much. We appreciate your kind effort and all the information. You're welcome. S1991 on YouTube says, good morning. How long does it take to receive VAWA approval notices? I received my C31 card September 16th. You know what? Right now, we're actually seeing it coming quicker. If you received it on the 16th, I was, obviously every case is different, but I know that some of the VAWA approvals that we received in September, we've already got the C31 work permit that we've already gotten their approvals. And it took like about 2 weeks. I think the longest one we had took about a month and a half. So, but we've also, that's recently, but also early in the summer, we had approvals that took like 6 months to get the actual approval. So it really depends. But right now, we're seeing it a bit quicker. So maybe you'll be one of those that yours will come this month. Okay. Eve says, good morning. Can someone I gave an affidavit of support get Obamacare and I won't get charged? Yes. So Obamacare is not a public benefit. A public benefit are things like, SNAP, food stamp, welfare and things of that nature. So you just want to be, so those things, you just want to be careful if you're sponsoring someone to make sure that they don't get those things, because you could be liable, if they get those things. Joy says, after a vow is approved, what next? Marriage-based abuse with a lot of evidence. So typically, your marriage-based abuse with a lot of evidence is what VAWA approves. So VAWA approves your marriage-based abuse that you submitted evidence on. And, I know a lot of people ask the question whether or not there's an interview for VAWA. And I saw this question before I jumped off yesterday. So let me answer that. So normally, when you submit a VAWA petition, you want to submit everything. You're married, so you want to submit things that show these categories. Proof of legal marriage, and a good legal marriage, meaning that you've already divorced whoever you were married to before, and you entered into this marriage legally, that your spouse is a U.S. citizen or a green card holder, that your spouse and you entered a good faith, bona fide, real marriage. You want to also show cohabitation. So even, and what I mean by cohabitation is you want to show that you guys live together. Even if you don't live together for 100 years, and you only live together for 1 month, 2 months, but just try to make sure that you're able to show that. And then, of course, you want to show proof that you are a person of good moral character. And finally, you want to be able to show the extreme cruelty and abuse that took place. So if you have all that, you have a strong chance of being approved for your VAWA case. And once you're approved for your VAWA case, the next thing is one of two things can happen. You can either be scheduled for a VAWA interview, not a VAWA interview, I apologize, for a green card interview, or you could be bypassed and maybe asked to send your medical exams if you haven't sent it before. I don't know the rhyme or logic to who gets bypassed or not, but that's just how that works. Okay. Cecilia said, you're so good at what you do. Thank you so much. Okay, let me answer some questions on Instagram. Okay, all of you guys today are asking the same question. How long do you get a work permit after your biometrics in a VAWA case? So I just talked about this. So it's similar to a marriage-based case. So you can just rewind the video when I get off. Okay. So let's see. Okay, so Onyi says, yesterday you said a person needs to be in America for 2.5 years. If you leave America with a green card, please, is it 2.5 years at one go, or your record needs to show you've been in America? Okay, so let me explain that, because I know that's a bit confusing. And for those who don't know what she's talking about when you first, what you need in order to qualify to become a U.S. citizen. So in order to qualify as a U.S. citizen based on you being a green card holder for 5 years, you need to show that in the 5 years of being a green card holder, the 2.5 years of that, you have been in the United States. You don't have to be in the United States for 2.5 years at a time and then go out of the country for 2.5 years. It just means that from 2000, let me use a simple number, from 2015 to 2020, that even if you traveled, in totality, your traveling was not more than 2.5 years. So like if, let's say in 2016, you traveled for 6 months, in 2017, you traveled for 6 months, 2018, you traveled for 6 months. If you travel for 6 months each of those years, you are on the cusp, so you should make sure that you're in America, for a couple more months, so that you just don't make it more difficult for yourself or restart your clock, basically. So that's what I mean by that. So it's not that you have to do 2.5 years in one sitting. It's just that when you count all the times that you've been absent out of America, that you have less than 2.5 years. Another thing is that if you're somebody that travels a lot, or you're bi-coastal, well, is it bi-coastal or bi-country or bi-continent? If you're outside the country, one of the things that you want to make sure is that you have ties, and a sufficient nexus in the United States. You have an apartment, you have a house, or you have bills here, because you want to show that, you live here. And listen, I get it. Like, there's so many parents, like, it took me a while to convince my dad to stay, in America, where they're like, oh, I want to stay in my other country, or, I want to stay, wherever they are, coming back and forth. And you're like, it would just be easier to just stay here and become a U.S. citizen. So you just want to make sure that you build ties, here in the United States, whether it's with your work, your employment, your bills, and, purchasing property and things like that, so that if you are on the cusp, you have other things, including taxes, to show that, no, you intend to be a resident of here. So, okay, let's see. What else do we have? James said, if you marry a woman from the United States for 2 years, is it easy for you to have your papers? Absolutely not. There's nothing easy as far as it comes to immigration. What it does, though, is that if you do get approved, you will get a 10-year green card instead of a 2-year conditional green card. But that being said, even if you've been married for 2 years, in fact, if you've been married for 2 years, you better have more bona fides than somebody who just got married, because at 2 years, they're going to be less merciful as far as what evidence you have than somebody who just got married and they filed, and they're going to be like, yeah, they just got married, so they may not have as much. So you definitely, with each year of your marriage, you want to develop and acquire more stuff to show that, you have a legitimate marriage. Okay. Onyi says, thank you so much. You're so kind. You're welcome. Um, so Dr. Joseph says, good morning. Can I file I-485 after I receive my VAW work permit, but I don't have any approval letter yet or notice? You could even file it before you receive your work permit or your approval. That being said, without consulting with you to know why you didn't apply for an adjustment of status in the first place, is necessary to tell you what you qualify for. But as a general, if you qualify to file for an adjustment of status at the same time as your VAWA, you might as well just file it all together at the same time. Okay. AOJ says, when are you coming to Atlanta? I'm actually going to be in Atlanta in a week and a half, but I will not be able to see anybody on that trip. But, I'll let y'all know when next I'm coming. Okay. Somebody says, if you have a removal proceeding letter and you file for VAW with your receipts, do you still need to honor the removal proceeding? Of course, you need to honor the removal proceeding. Yes, you do. If you have your VAW receipts, you can just, let them, you can either file for continuance, just so that they can make a decision on, your VAW case, or that have them, postpone it. A lot of times, actually, now what we're seeing is that some of our clients are already in removal proceedings, on the day of their hearing, that they've actually postponed it till like 2024, 2023. So one of the things that I would actually suggest is, if you have one coming up very soon, that you definitely check to make sure that it hasn't been postponed. But yeah, you don't just ignore that. Okay, what other questions do I have here? Okay, so another question that I've been getting asked a lot, is about this COVID vaccine and what the requirement is, and what they need to do. So again, as you guys know, USCIS is asking that in order for you to be a green card holder, as of the month of October 1st, 2021, any medical exam, you won't be able to complete a medical exam without your COVID vaccination, unless you can show there is a religious or a moral ground that stops you from getting that. And typically, you will have to do do a waiver, a 601 waiver, requesting a waiver. There is a fee for the waiver. What people are asking is, well, when do I submit the waiver? Honestly, it's really hard to say, because I know you guys think that, we just know everything, but sometimes if the law is really new, we're also waiting for guidance to see how it works. Right now, you could do a preemptive waiver, but the thing is, if you do a preemptive waiver, what if, by the time it's time for your interview, you know, this is no longer a requirement. So it's really hard to tell people what to do when it comes to a personal decision on your choices. Obviously, if you can get a vaccine and you want to get a vaccine, make it easy for yourself and just get the vaccine, and do your green card. But then there are also people that just don't want to get it. And then if you don't want to get it, one of the things you're going to have to deal with is, either when you attend your interview, they can tell you, well, we can't approve you right now, go get the waiver. And then you do the waiver. Of course, it's going to make your case take a longer time. Or you could try to do it preemptively. My hesitation with preemptive waivers is because we don't really know when your interview is. We don't know what's going to happen with COVID by then. We don't know if this mandate is still going to be. So you've gone through this whole process and then it's no longer mandated. So it's really hard to counsel people on that, other than just get the stuff done and be done. Unless, like I said, you have a moral ground or religious ground, or basically something that stops you from getting it. Okay, AOJ says, I guess I can come to your office in Florida. You can schedule a video call with me. You don't have to do it on the phone, or you don't have to come to Florida. You can schedule a video call with me. I actually prefer video calls because it allows me to see who I'm talking to and vice versa. A video meeting, I mean, not call. Okay, so James says, I'm sorry for the second question. Fiance visa, a marriage visa, which one is better? So the answer really depends on your family situation. What I always say is that you have to look at your lifestyle to decide which is better. Before COVID, you could say that, a fiance visa would take you a quicker time to complete, to have your fiance here. For those of you that are like, I just want my fiance here. I just want my fiance here. That being said, after COVID, there's a delay universally with, consular processing outside of the United States. You were looking at the travel ban. You were also looking at, the COVID closing of the consulate. So now all of them are essentially taking just as much, give or take 2 to 3 months difference. You could be looking at anywhere from 15 to 24 months on any given petition that's a consular processing. So, the things that you want to consider when you want to make that decision for your family are one of two things. Well, one of a few things. One, financially, can you wing it if your spouse comes here on a K visa and you have to support your spouse because your spouse might not be able to work until you finish your adjustment of status? Are you prepared to do another application all over again when they come here? Because when they come here, you do have to do the adjustment of status application, and you do have to wait till you get your green card, because even though they come here on a fiancé visa, they're still not green card holders. Another thing is that a lot of people who are outside of the United States, some of them, their families rely on them for their income, right? Or to take care of them, So if you have a spouse or not a spouse, a fiance who takes care of his mother or his father or his cousins or her cousins or whatever, can they come here, and will you be okay taking on that expense for them while they're trying to get themselves together? If the answer to all that is no, then you definitely want to consider a marriage-based process, because one, that when they approve your spouse, they're entering into the United States as your spouse and as a green card holder. So they don't need to put in any other application again. They can jump right into the United States, jump right into finding a job, and all that. If that means waiting 3 more months, 5 more months, then, you just decide which one works best for you. Okay. Simona says, please find time to reply me. This is my first time. Thank you for tuning in, Simona. Let me look for you. Okay. Good morning, Miss Aisha. I want to file the I-29 for my fiance. Do I need to add tax return, pay stub, and W-2 to the application? And I only earn about 17,000. So this is how it works. So when you first submit your I-129F, you don't submit your financials at that time. At that time, you're just establishing that this is your fiance. You have seen your fiance, at least once in the last, 2 years, and you have a legitimate relationship and a legitimate plan to get married once that person comes to the United States. Once you get approved, then the next step would be what you just mentioned. That being said, the number that they look at is the number that's on your adjusted gross income on your tax transcript, Okay, and this is notice for all of you on this live right now. If you want to make your life easy when it comes to taxes, financials, joint sponsor, just go to irs.gov and get your actual filed tax transcript. I cannot count the number of times, people have come to me because their case was denied because they didn't sign their taxes. They have an RFE because they said those taxes were not acceptable. Majority of people don't realize that when they do TurboTax, do this random tax with whatever tax provider, that those are not signed. So if you don't have that signed or have a paper, make it easy for yourself. Just go to the IRS website and get a tax transcript. You can get up to, I want to say, the last 5 years of your taxes. So that has an accurate number. And what I've also observed in my experience is that the number sometimes on the taxes don't add up to the adjusted gross income on the IRS website. And that is what USCIS is going to go by and what that number is. So, Simona, for you, your income requirement will be based on how many people that you claim on your taxes that you actually filed. Okay. Okay. Hi, Mercy on YouTube. So this seems to be the most popular question, but I talked about this in the beginning, so you can just scroll to the beginning or fast rewind to the beginning when I finish, and you hear what my explanation for your question is. Ashani, thank you so much. How's your stuff looking? Well, I don't want to talk about your stuff because it's confidential. You can call the office and ask me. But it's looking good. Good morning, Maureen from New Jersey. Thank you for tuning in. Okay. Ia Kilman says, how do you check your removal proceeding? Well, you can go on the EOIR website, or you can call the EOIR 1-800 number and type in your alien number, and it will let you know. Okay, so doctor says my VAWA case was denied. I appealed it last July this month. USCI sent me a work authorization. The lawyer tells me that I can file for I-485. Can I do it without the approval letter? Yes, you can. You can. One more question. Can VAWA still get denied even after you receive a C-31 work permit? No. A C-31 work permit is saying that your VAWA case has been approved. But your adjustment of status application could still be denied. So remember, getting approved for VAWA doesn't mean you may get approved for a green card. Getting approved for VAWA is basically saying that they acknowledge your abuse, that your abuse existed, and so we're going to give you deferred action, and you just renew your deferred action, and which allows you not to be deported and continued work permit. Getting a green card, there's still grounds of inadmissibility that you have to make sure that you meet, or that you don't meet, or that makes you inadmissible, so that you get your green card. And there's just so much to list all of them out. There's certain things there that might require you to get a waiver, in order for them to give you a green card. Those, or if you're in removal proceeding, you might get approved for your VAWA, but they won't be able to give you the green card, if they don't have jurisdiction and you don't take certain steps. So that's how that works. Okay, guys. All right, guys. Well, this was fun. I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And I will see you guys again on Monday. Please don't forget to share my video. Share it for those of your friends who are dealing with immigration. And it might be helpful. You can share it on Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp. I don't think you can share on Instagram, wherever you can share. And definitely subscribe to my channel on YouTube. I would love that very much. And then you can hit the notification button on Facebook and Instagram if you want to be notified when I come on live. Most days I come on between 9 to 10 a.m. unless I'm in an interview or I'm busy or I have a meeting. But, I just try to come on when I can. And then if you need to reach me, or, if you want to talk about the particular details of your case, I would love to assist you. You can call me 407-995-6567, or you can send a WhatsApp to have us call you to schedule. If it's domestic, if it's a domestic line, and that's 404-333-8751. All right, guys, have a great one. Bye.